of AM Express, of morning cries, of little fish had no bone, of all the nursery rhymes we sang wrongly, albeit confidently, of all that innocence.
Άμα ήμουνα μικρή, η θάλασσα ήτανε σαν μητέρα. Γαλανή, όμορφη, ατέλεια. Δεν θα ξεχάσω ποτέ την αγκαλιά της.
Of apostolic rallies, blue scarf on white, an assembly of the great and small, how they sang and danced like theirs alone was the kingdom of heaven. Of 1,001 stories about tortoise and his broken shell.
Jalkapallosta ja ehtimisestä kavereiden kanssa. Pelosta, jännityksestä, toivosta. Raksihampaisesta Johannasta nurmikentän laidalla. Ensimmäisestä kosketuksesta internetiin koulussa. Kivisistä portaista. Pommipelistä välitunnilla.
Of school returns punctuated by ceremonies. Of mourning homes. Of caskets and the familiar faces that graced them. Of sing-song nights, dancing away the spirit of grief with hymns. A holy ground of feet introducing themselves and the faces they belonged to. Of one name shared by two bodies.
音を録音すると自然は不自然になってしまう。
Of back when nothing described a heartbreak more than an empty house, an empty street, a hole inside my heart. Of morning devotions. Of the prime praise and worship set list. What shall I say unto the Lord? What shall you say unto the Lord? Of marking post, the bladder and the flying carpet.
The recorded sounds, nature becomes unnatural. 录音，自然变成非自然。
Of anointing. Of wanting to fall under the anointing. Of not falling. Of feeling soiled for not falling. Of classroom backseats and mischief. Of Channel 301.
L'appel à la prière a l'air bien loin, étouffé dans les tissus de la mémoire, French and Wolof sounds whispering along the river.
Of community secondary schools. Of the drawing board and the T-square. Of P-square. Of wailing when we never got the chance to mime. White gloves and socks, looking like a clean slate, shining as if without sin or blemish. Of South Africa 2010.
Primi ricordi. Una tenda di pizzo. L'ombra di un ficco tremolante fuori dalla finestra. La luce danza sulle pareti.
Of all the nights we held camp by the neighbor's window, watching Nollywood horror. Of living with a mixed pair of footwear. Of the drunken master. Of Bodmas and the daunting task of finding excess. Of excess. Of first kisses and testimonials of softness. Of the Yardan. Of police and thief. Of pepper planes and canoes. Of checkpoints turned to beauty parlors.
Of offering the lake and the silent bay, of the subterranean windows that bleed future, of 24 hours, how the axis spins is webbed forces, of offerings and symbolic gestures, of shadows and cold shoulders, of want and surrender, of surrender and accretion, of accretion and want.
Of that first time we ever saw 50. A black rapper's photograph in the barbershop catalog. And then Nas, and Jay-Z, and Luda, and Park, and Usher, and Akon, and you. Of Am I Safe? Of Kumbaya, of Suya on the ingredient of night, of all the delicacies that have mapped our years.
Keväisistä kävelyistä, kesäisistä kävelyistä, syksyisistä kävelyistä, talvisista kävelyistä.
Of boys like us, of all the songs we ever jammed on our Asha, Express Music, X2, of the airplay tussle between No Air and Oleku, of Extra Cool, midnight calls that left us super late for school. We were never making sense. Just the reel of sparking wires coating the night with jokes about the ever-grumpy canteen lady, or the senior prefects we often spotted at Ambition Supermarket. Our family reunions, how the living room held us cozy like a prayer, safe and warm like the womb.
Kissan pennuista ja pikkusiskoista. Kylmästä, kanan ihosta ja vedestä. Banaaninutturasta, kuorista ja kuolleesta äidistä. Madonnasta, tytön huoneen karvasta ja mistä?
Of bus terminals and night trips, of wet rock carpets, of mandates and who has what, of jollof wars, Sunday stews, of bedwets and the midnight mattress makeover, of all the times they promised there was rice at home, but there wasn't.
Kirjaviin nauhoihin eksyneistä kosketuksista, yksinäisistä yllätyksistä, ikuisesti palauttamattomista kirjaston kirjoista.
Of bombastic side eyes, of all the fun facts in the wrap of the banana bubble gum, of guns made from big cups and rubber bands.
Mahauimalan kloorin, ketsupin, ruohon ja kookoksen tuoksusta, hälinästä, kirkaisuista, veden vellonnasta, polttavasta asfaltista paljaiden jalkapohjien alla, märistä hiussuikeroista, pistelevistä jäsenistä, pitenevistä varjoista.
Of war starts and the reluctance to surrender. Of let them shoot. Of up nepa.